Hey everybody, Karen over here trying to bring up the follow-up I mentioned in my previous video. I should probably make it more of a habit of introducing myself in these videos because I don't. I just be telling y'all, I'm here, I'm ready, let's bring it. um, so in my previous video, I got into this dream analysis that like took forever, and I guess I wasn't taking quick enough action with that particular dream because I ended up getting a follow-up dream soon after that. Well, okay, I'm lying because 6 days to be exact. 6 days afterwards. I had this dream what's today, the 22nd? So yesterday I woke up to this dream and I felt that it was a follow-up to the previous dream analysis that I did that took a bit long. So this particular dream left me pretty, I'm not trying to say shook up, but it did leave me pretty sad. Okay, so coincidentally, there were some things that I kind of like reviewed or revealed, I'm sorry, in the previous video that kind of coincide with what this dream is about. I call this dream the hard truth dream because the way that I got the message in this dream was like, whoosh, you know? So let's get into it. All right. So I woke up at 2 a.m. in the morning from a dream that left me very emotional. So I was going through an interview process in the dream. It was like I was going through like an interview screening, right? Like that initial screen. And I was aware that the position would be paying well around 84,000 a year. I was being asked preliminary questions along with four other candidates that are going through this process with me. Let me see. Yeah. I remember being asked how much I was currently making and whether I wanted it displayed. I told them that I was making about 40K and didn't mind how it was used. There was a lady that made mention of how much experience I had or how many jobs I had had. Um, and I responded with, well, I'm 45, so I'm pretty well seasoned. Suddenly, we find ourselves in this long, like this big, long white room. Okay. And I was standing on the left side. Like we were split into two rows. Oh, okay. On either side of the room. Okay. Um, and we were in groups of four. So it was four of us here and four of us there. All right. Um, we are then informed that they will be calling out names for the candidates that are going to be moving forward. Okay. To the next phase of interviewing. And if you don't hear your name, then obviously you were not picked. So they started calling out names, and I could hear, like, whenever they would call a name, like, I don't know if y'all noticed, but like there's always like this March 22nd, 11:44. Okay, great. Thanks for the numbers. Um Here I am catching angel numbers every now and then. Um so when people start calling out names like as people who are going to be moving forward, there was this sense of like awkward clapping. You know what I'm saying? Like, Like they couldn't like synchronize, you know what I'm saying? Or they couldn't decide if they wanted to clap for the person or not. So we were dealing with that. Um, so then I noticed that, I'm not being called yet, but there's 8 of us in total. But before I noticed, I'm basically the only one left on my side. And then there was this other person, this guy left on the other side. And I'm left in like this trance of disappointment, right? And the candidates are like moving past me, right? Because now they're going towards, the other room where they're going to be going through the next level, the next phase of interviews. Um, and I can see that the other guy is like over that way, but he's kind of like just standing there. And since these guys were moving already past me, like I just kind of started walking in this trance, like another one bites the dust type shit. And suddenly I'm making my way somewhere, and now I go into the bathroom. So I enter the bathroom and I'm going towards the first bathroom stall. As I'm going there, there's this like a sign over the bath the bathroom stall, I'm sorry. And it says, I couldn't tell if it meant to say face or if it was just like an incomplete that they're like Facebook or something like that, but it just said face. And it was in an oval sign. Okay. And I know that I was holding like a briefcase slash portfolio in one hand. I thought I was holding it in my right hand or my left hand. I thought I was holding it in my left hand. But at some point it switched because like I'm going into the bathroom stall, but then I stall myself at the entrance. And I kind of just like turn around and halfway, and I lean my spine up against the hinges of the door to the bathroom stall. And I take a deep breath. And as I'm exhaling, this sadness from the pit of my stomach rises into my chest and out in this breath. And when it comes out, I just start wailing. Like I just start crying. And it was almost like, and then it was like, and I started to just bawl out. And I feel myself falling, like sliding down the side of the stall, right? The doorway to the stall, you know, and I end up on the floor, and I kind of just pivot in a way and like land on, like I'm on the floor. And I remember feeling the cold small tiles. It had the small white tiles on the floor. And I'm crying uncontrolled. Dude, as many times as I have told myself I have reviewed this dream, you would think I would be over this shit, but I'm not. So I'm on the floor and I'm crying. And I look to my right, and the portfolio case is in my hand. And it's almost like the bathroom stall door is kind of like over it, so it's like I'm kind of like already underneath this door. My arm is anyways. And I see like this rope like string that kind of, swerves. And when I follow it, I see it's attached to this baby. And it was a realistic looking baby, but it felt like it was a doll. Okay, so baby, like a doll baby or baby doll. I don't know how you guys want me to say that. And it was by the bathroom door. And the message that I got was so clear. It said, "You have been denied. They don't want you. You will never make it there. You just need to stop. Stop trying." And these this like, and the way I'm telling you is not like just me coming up. No, this is like, these were the messages in the dream. And even though I'm already crying in the dream, like all I could do is continue crying because like the rejection was so in my face. Like, because at one point I tried to look up, and I guess look up and around, and I'm just seeing like the walls of the stall or whatever's, or parts of the bathroom stall. And I was just falling apart. Like, if I can't make it there, then where else am I supposed to make it? Like, this is the question that I find myself asking myself and the universe in the dream. And I wake up with that same question and that same heaviness and that sadness. I woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning with this shit, and I just started bawling out in the middle of the night with this sadness. Like, and then there's a sense of like, then what am I supposed to do with all that education that I went through? What am I supposed to do with all that work, all that experience, all that planning? I did everything that they wanted me to do. I did what they expected of me. What they said, well, if you want to succeed, you got to go to college. You got to do this. You got to get good grades. You got to show determination. You got to do. I did all of those things. So if that was not enough, then what was I supposed to do? And what am I supposed to do with that stuff now? Like, what am I supposed to, you know what I mean? And all I could think of, like, what are my other options, right? Like, because now I'm trying to be rational again, I'm trying to be carrying the rational. And I'm thinking, well, I got my spiritual thing going on, I'm trying to share this journey with YouTube. And I got this virtual assistant business that I'm not quite launching yet. I don't understand what I'm missing here, what I'm like overlooking. There's this novel that I have had in my head since like 2015. Like, should I be progressing with that? And I just, I'm trying not to be a pussy right now, guys. I really am. I'm not trying to like, but every time I keep asking myself these questions, I still end up with no answers. Like, I just can't seem to get it together. And it's that confusion, that lack of clarity. I've always been that glass half full type of person. Like, if I like when I went to college, I started out with a degree in networking technology or computer technology. Okay. By the time I graduated there, I, 9/11 had just happened. Okay. I graduated April of 2002. So we were still dealing with the aftermath of 9/11. Okay. In New York City. There was no shot. The IT industry has shut down. And while I graduated April of 2002, by May of 2002, I was on the welfare line. That's where I was, getting food stamps and getting welfare. Okay? Because I'm out here raising my babies. And I'm a single mom. And after that, it was just like odd jobs. Okay? And when I finally got a stable job, it was in the administrative field. And in that job that I lasted 6 years in, I discovered my passion for project management. And I realized, the capabilities that I had as far as conceptualizing, planning, managing, recruiting, just everything from start to finish, even to the training and the help desk at the end. Like, I was in it all. I did it all. And people that had been working with me for a few years prior were like blown away. They were like, wow, Karen did that? Like, oh, snap. You know what I mean? Like, it was like that. To the point that my manager was like, yo, you are a project manager. And she was like, she would put me in business user testing. And, she wanted me to like, get some courses, and she was like, and I'll help you get your PDUs. I think that's what they call them. Um, I'll sign for them and stuff like that so that you can start working towards your certification in project management. And I don't know what the hell happened. But then it's like all of a sudden, everything came to a halt. And for the life of me, I could not break through the goddamn glass ceiling. I just couldn't. Like, they wouldn't give me an opportunity to join their project management team. They wouldn't give me the opportunity to move up in any way. So I ended up leaving there, and I ended up, that's when I ended up leaving New York and moving to Pennsylvania. And there I ended up getting a job as a childcare enrollment specialist. And basically, I was managing and recruiting for a roster of about, I think it was like 12 different daycare centers. And I was responsible for doing the workshops and mass enrollments and stuff like that. And then 2 years into that, shit just started going sour, you know? And then I ended up getting laid off from there, because there was changes in management, the board, and stuff like that. And, they decided that they were going to run a nonprofit as like a corporation, which makes no sense. But that's another conversation. So when I ended up without a job, I was like, okay, I'm not going to be one of these people that just like sits at home and does nothing. So I went back to school. Okay. And then I got my degree in business management. And I graduated cum laude. You know what I'm saying? And you would think that with my degree in in networking technology, computer technology, the experience that I had with this other company, and this next, degree in business management with exceptional scores, that I would be able to put these things together, because that was my mindset. Like, I'm like, yo, if I can't make it with this one thing, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna stack it on that, and I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna stack it on that. You know what I'm saying? So that I can make myself a more viable candidate. Okay. And I just couldn't. Keep in mind that in Pennsylvania, they are proud nepotizers. You know what I'm saying? Like they truly believe in nepotism like it's a good thing. Okay. Um, and I just couldn't I couldn't get my foot in the door with a good enough company. Or nobody would. So eventually, I ended up leaving Pennsylvania. I was homesick. I was tired, and I was like, maybe I'll be able to take all of this that I've already been stacking on, go back to New York, and make it work over there. So I'm boarding with my sister, okay, and it's me and my two daughters at this point because my son was already of age. And I'm trying to apply for jobs and I'm not getting callbacks. But you know what callbacks I would get? You know those people that be trying to like give you the Obama phones and shit like that? I got callbacks from people like that. I wanted to blow my brains out. So then, a friend of mine, she goes ahead, she's like, well, Karen, I know that you're putting out applications. I know you're doing this, that, and a third. But you know what? Keep in mind at this point, I'm like 36 years old. Okay. She's like, but I'm doing this program. It's like a pre-apprenticeship. It's with the trades, you know. While you're waiting for a call back for an interview or whatever, you know what I'm saying? You can at least do this and at least stay busy. So I go ahead. The program was called Non-Traditional Employment for Women, or NEW. The acronym is NEW. Okay. And it was free. I wasn't paying anything. It was a 6 or 7 week. It's a 7 week program, you know. And I kid you not, by the time I graduated that 7 week program, when we had our graduation, okay, that people would get certificates and whatever's. I basically wiped that whole table with everything except the golden hammer because I didn't win that competition. But everything else I got perfect attendance, top grades, whatever, everything. Like I got everything. Commitment and some other shit. Oh, leadership, I think it was. And I managed to get myself into an apprenticeship with the New York City millwrights. Okay. And now here it is. I'm 37 years old and I'm working with the millwrights. And a 4 year apprenticeship turned into like 4.5 for me because, as with everything else, yes, I made good money. I tell you right now, it's the only time I ever made good money. It was the only time that, like, 2018 was the first year and only year that I ever broke 100K. Okay. But the problem with being in the union, in the trades, is the carrot on the stick. It's the command and control mentality and the carrot on the stick. So it's almost like there's this feast or famine mentality. Okay. Unless you're in with a company, like you're always struggling to make sure that you get as much money as possible. And sometimes you could be, I was sold on like 6 months on, 6 months out, but you were making enough money in the 6 months that you should be good for the rest of the year. But my man's, like, it was exhausting. And as an apprentice, you know what I'm saying? You have to make your hours if you want to graduate. So it was just like stressful. It was super stressful. And I was like, this is no way to live. And if, like I mentioned in my previous video, like, I'm not that person. Like, money is not like the end all for me. Like, if it was, like, I remember, you know what I'm saying? Like, working there and having these moments of just being in a tiny house in the middle of nowhere, minding my own damn business. And at that point, I knew that I was like, I'm going to have to leave New York again because I don't want to live like this. And another thing is that, being a millwright is a steep hill to climb, but being a woman millwright is even steeper. So, like, I had to deal. The brothers knew that I busted my ass working. Like, they were just like, yo, she's not like these other girls. Like, she's not out here having people do stuff for her. Like, I was out there working like the men. I wasn't playing that game. And I earned a reputation for that. And still, I would have to deal with male chauvinistic supervisors that would sit there and completely disregard the fact that I could weld, that I could do the job, and they would instead have me like fire watching or hole watching. But they would be looking, they would still be hiring union brothers because they needed welders. And then eventually, like, the same people, so a couple of the people that thought I was just talking shit were like, yo, but if you still need welders, Karen welds. Why is Karen fire watching? Why don't you just put Karen to weld? Karen wasn't getting to weld. Karen got to weld when somebody got exposed to COVID and they had to quarantine for 14 days. Then once that person came back, I was put back to like doing the same old. And still, throughout all of this, I'm thinking about stacking my stuff, right? Because now I have a computer technology degree. I have project management experience. I have a business management degree. Now I have an apprenticeship. I can put that into like some construction, project management type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just always trying to figure out how to make it work. I'm not that type of person to just lie down and be like, feel sorry for myself. Like, I'm not. I don't see what is the point. You know what I'm saying? I'm always trying to make it work. And I go ahead. I finally decide to leave because I obviously wasn't getting to do that out in New York. So I moved down to North Carolina and I decided, you know what? Let me just try applying for like millwright jobs here. I understand that they're not union down here like that, but experience is experience. So maybe if I can get with like a shop somewhere. I saw a post for like for a millwright at some shop. I applied. The HR girl calls me. She screens me. Okay, great. I'm going to have the manager call you, she says. 3 weeks pass and the manager never calls. So I call back and I'm like, hey, do you guys still have this position available? Because I saw it online. She was like, oh, you're such and such. Okay, I spoke to you. Yeah. He never called you? No, he hasn't called me. I think the message was pretty clear. You know what I'm saying? For whatever his reason, he felt like I was not the candidate, whether because I was a girl, you know what I'm saying? Because he didn't feel like I knew how to weld, because he may have felt like I came from a union background. I don't know. You know what I mean? So I gave myself a whole year to kind of like chill and like figure myself out. And then I started applying to like, I was like, fuck it, I'll just go back to administrative, whatever the case may be. And now I'm working where I'm working and I'm doing payroll and I'm miserable as fuck. I'm going on 2 years and I'm miserable. Like, I'll literally be doing my job and I'll be like, I hate my fucking job. But I'm there every day. I'm there on time. Actually, I'm there early, but in the union is like, when you're early, you're on time. When you're on time, you're late. You know what I'm saying? That was the mentality. So I'm always there early, right? I'm reliable. I get the work done. I've only just recently been having to take, sick days. And that's because for some reason, my health has been, A lot of it has been in my head, obviously. My allergies. I haven't been able to focus. You know, Sacred knowledge says that there might be some ascension symptoms going on. I don't know if that's part of it because I'm surprised that I've even had to take time off because I can't even focus on the screen, you know. But I've never let my team down. And with every job I've ever had, I make my promises and I follow through with my promises. The problems start when they don't follow through with theirs. The problems start when the company does not follow through with what they claim to be true. So now I'm over here, I'm having this dream. I'm trying to figure out, keep in mind that in between then and now, I'm over here like trying to like launch this business that for some reason, I don't know if it's me limiting myself or just not seeing the opportunities because maybe even though I've been in Wilmington for, what's it, 4 years, you know what I'm saying? There's still this lack of familiarity or something like that. I don't know how to like, weasel my way into shit. I don't know. But to have this dream, okay, and get that message as if like a slap on the face, like Cher in that movie, snap out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's basically what I felt like I got. So between the previous video, between that dream and this dream, which has been a period of 6 days, I've been going through some emotional shit because I'm trying to find my place in this world and I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. And there's always these messages of, things are happening quickly around you. I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. But even though you see things moving quickly around you, slow down. You don't need to go as fast as those things are moving. Now, I do understand, like, when I see things moving, like, I'm like, oh, I gotta get on there. You know what I'm saying? Like, my Virgo mentality. I'm like, oh, that shit's popping. I gotta get on it because if not, I'm gonna miss the train. You know what I'm saying? I'm mentally exhausted. I'm emotionally exhausted. So I'm just gonna keep on keeping on, right? Because I refuse to roll over. Like I refuse to do that. I'm not built that way. I've been struggling my whole goddamn life. I'm gonna figure it out. That's the mentality that I have, and that's part of the previous video, the dream there. Like this constant like this energy of Nine of Wands. Like this has been me all my life, and it's almost like, all right, bring it, bring it. So I mean, this is nothing new to me. So let's go. But I'm not gonna lie to you and pretend that it doesn't get overwhelming sometimes. I'm not gonna pretend that I don't feel like crying sometimes. I'm not gonna pretend that it doesn't hurt and doesn't frustrate me, you know? Because in my mind, I'm not J.K. Rowling, all right? I'm not Martha Stewart, and I'm not Vera Wang. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, this one got to create her first design line and this one published her first book and this one grew her freaking empire. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not going to pretend that I'm these women. I'm not saying that they're not examples of the potential. I'm just saying I have not seen that opportunity for me to make the most. And you also have to understand, and maybe this is what, part of the dream is telling me, like, oh, Karen, you just need to stop doing this. Because my thing is, the moment I see opportunity, I'm on it. Like, let's go. I'm trying to take it to the next level. Like, I'm trying to capitalize on these opportunities so that I can, be that, you use that hunger. You know what I'm saying? To do. But what the fuck? Like, what the fuck? So there's messages, but I just haven't. It's like I get the messages, but I still have questions. And the questions are about my actions. Like, okay, so if I shouldn't get this hungry, if I shouldn't like plan everything out, if I should just let everything flow, you know what I'm saying? Like, what am I supposed to be doing? Because I feel kind of like in this dream, like I'm being left behind. You know what I'm saying? Like these candidates are moving past me. They're moving towards the next phase and I'm being left behind. I want to thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. For anybody out there trying to figure out where they are in life, trying to feel, you know, better about where they are in life because they're unsatisfied with, with where they are and how far they've come, just know you're not alone. You are not alone. Because this has been me for a long time. And, I hope that eventually I'm able to show improvement. I'm hoping that eventually I'm able to share progress with you guys. I mean, in the end, at least being able to analyze my dreams and make sense of them, that's progress. That really is progress. Um, but as far as like moving to the next phase, it's gonna take a little longer. Maybe you guys see something. Maybe you guys hear something in these dreams for me. Maybe you guys have insight to share with me and be like, yo, Karen, maybe you should look at it from this point of view, or maybe what this is trying to tell you, because this is what I've gotten thus far. I mean, should I go as far as looking up the bathroom stall? I mean, is that something? Let's see. You know what I mean? Let's see if Miss Teresa Chung got anything on bathrooms, because mm, oh, she actually does have some stuff on bathrooms. Okay, let's see, guys. Toilet and elimination themes. Nope, that's not what it is. 300. So, dream that you're in the bathroom relates to your instinctual urges. You may be experiencing some sort of burdensome feelings and need to relieve yourself. Oh, I relieved myself. I was crying like a baby. Alternatively, it may symbolize purification and self renewal. You need to cleanse yourself both emotionally and psychologically. I mean, I was crying my ass off. Where else are we? Since I keep losing myself. Here we go. 310. Something in relation to the secret room, bathroom. No, no, no. That's not what it was. No, there was no secret. This is 617. I think it was. Well, the most common room in the house to appear in dreams is the bathroom. This represents purification and refreshment. So I will have to say that at the end of the day, it was really, the whole psychological cleanse. So I'm under the impression that I'm gonna be psychologically cleansing myself for a little bit, because even as I start to talk about this dream, I still kind of fall into like this bout of tears of like I can't shake off my sadness. So kind of brings you back to the whole Dean Winchester part of my previous dream, right? Dealing with my own demons. Like I'm bucking the system, right? This capitalist system of needing to afford my life, my existence on the rock. But at the same time, it's like while you're going against it, it's almost like you still have to kind of abide by it. So, and then there's that whole deconstructing of my structure, systems, and beliefs. So, this is gonna take. I'm not even gonna tell you that this is gonna happen overnight. This happened. I woke up to this dream yesterday morning. I'm probably gonna be crying this shit out for a little bit until I figure something out. And sometimes that's what it takes. And sometimes we have to go through these dark nights of the soul. You know what I'm saying? So you got to go through the dark nights of the soul before you can actually see the light. And all I can say is that is what makes me pull through. That is what keeps me going, knowing that despite how dark things get, despite how confused I am, despite how helpless I feel, I'll just keep pushing through, and eventually I'll figure it out. So thank you, YouTube. Thank you for watching. I hope to get comments. I hope to hear insights. I look forward to engaging with you guys, and I tell you, I appreciate the effort, the time that you guys take to watch this. So thank you so much, and see you on the next one.